Welcome back to the Lawkward Chronicles. My name is Larissa, and today we have our Archer's Voice book club. Now, if you notice, I am in a different location today. I am pet sitting, so you may hear some barks, you may hear some meows, you may see some fuzziness, and you may hear scratching at the door for her to be let out for the 100th time this morning. We're doing Archer's Voice book club. I have the questions down in the description box below, along with a link that I got the questions from and kind of modified some of them. I had the toughest time finding questions for Archer's Voice. I thankfully stumbled across where I got these questions from for more of a general book club questions and like romance genre specific. So they're not geared towards Archer's Voice as I would have liked them to have been, but they do the job. Oh, sorry, somebody wants scratches. With the book club episode, just be aware that there are spoilers. So if you would like a spoiler-free reading vlog of Archer's Voice, that was the video prior to this one. So hop on over there if you want to not be spoiled with this book. And let's get into the synopsis. Archer's Voice. I wanted to lose myself in a small town of Pelion, Maine, to forget everything I had left behind, the sound of the rain, the blood, the coldness of a gun against my skin. For 6 months, each breath has been a reminder that I survived and my dad didn't. I'm almost safe again, but the moment I meet Archer Hale, my entire world tilts on its axis and never rights itself again. Until I trespass into his strange, silent, and isolated world, Archer communicates with no one. Yet in his whiskey-colored eyes, something intangible happens between us. There's so much more to him than just his beauty, his presence, or the ways his hands communicate with me, on me. But this town is mired in secrets and betrayals, and Archer is the explosive center of it all. So much passion and so much hurt. But it's in Archer's silence that we might just find what we need to heal and to live. On to the questions. First question, what was your favorite part of the book? I cannot get over when Archer left the Almond Joy bouquet at her door. I cannot get over that scene. It is so cute, and it makes me so upset that no man has ever given me a bouquet of my favorite candies. What was your least favorite part of the book? And I had a couple. It made me the most upset. I didn't necessarily dislike them, but it just made me really upset when, first of all, Travis bringing Archer to a strip club to lose his virginity. That made me so mad, so mad. And it was so gratifying when Bree punched him in the face afterwards. That made me thrilled. Also, like, Archer is just so innocent. He doesn't know any better. So when Bree asked him if he was with another woman, he didn't understand. And I thought that was so sad, and so much could have been avoided. The second least favorite part of the book was when Archer left without saying a proper goodbye. I was so upset, and he had no way of contacting anybody. Like Bree stated, she's like, I didn't know if you lived or died. Archer needed to be selfish in the sense of he needed to go out and see if he could do everything on his own and live in this world so he can give Bree the proper thing. But the way he went about it was so rash and kind of uncaring, and it was upsetting to me, and I did not like that. The third question, did you race to the end, or was it more of a slow burn? If you watched the reading vlog, you will know you could take a shot for every time I say, I don't want to stop, I can't put this down, I'm gonna read this. Yeah, so for me, it was a race to the end because I could not put it down, and I was so upset because I really wanted to just engulf myself in the story. And oh, I struggle with that all the time when I'm really loving a story. I just want to get to the happy ending and see what's going on and know everything about it, but I also want to take my time and savor it. And it was so hard to do because all I wanted to do was just get to the finish line with this one. So yes, I definitely raced to the end. Question 4, which scene has stuck with you the most? I have 3. The first one is when Archer and Bree first met in the parking lot. I thought that was such a cute little meet cute. I love a meet cute. And oh, it was just adorable just to kind of see how they first interact. And like with the dandelions, oh, you just knew it was significant. And that's like the dandelions on here. When I read that part, I'm like, oh, now the cover makes sense. And obviously the Almond Joy bouquet that lives rent-free in my mind all the time. And also when Bree first went to Archer's place, when her pup just dove right in and went right in there and she had to go chase her, and just their interaction, I thought that was so cute. And Archer was so confused and standoffish. And when Bree finally states that she knows sign language and that she could teach him, and he's like, oh, I know it too. Also when she's like, I prefer to speak your language. That was so cute. So cute. Oh my gosh. Also like their first time hooking up, or like when Archer actually lost his virginity. Oh, miscommunication up the wazoo. But when he came over to her place to sit outside on her porch because she's scared of thunderstorms. Archer, you sweet, sweet soul. And yeah. And then when they finally like figured out that it was just a miscommunication. Oh, love it. Love that for her. Question 5, would you want to read another book by this author? Yes, I do. I am nervous too though, because I really love this book, and it's so hard because obviously everybody compares every author's book to one another, especially when this one was so good. Oh, it's just tough if something else that you read by that author doesn't capture that same love for it. Question 6, what surprised you most about the book? That the whole huge reveal, Travis and Archer are brothers. Victoria Hale is a manipulative biatch, and she is caused the death and attempted murders of multiple characters, as well as not playing into the other uncle, his insecurities, and not allowing Archer to have the surgery he needed to gain his voice back because of her. And she just is so manipulative, as well as Bree being the only one that is able to communicate with him because nobody else just took the time. That makes me sad. And I get that the uncle was super paranoid, so it makes sense that nobody else would do that because he was kind of like, ugh, standoffish and scared to interact with other people, which by association isolated Archer. Question 7, is this book overrated or underrated? I think it's perfectly rated. Everything I've heard of it, everybody that has read it has absolutely loved it, and I agree. I agree completely. I think it is such a beautiful and wonderful story, so perfectly and adequately rated. Question 8, would you ever consider rereading it? Why or why not? Absolutely, I would. 100%. Definitely will be rereading it, mainly because, again, I flew through this book. I went so fast, and the next time I read it, I really want to savor it, take my time with it, and really just engross myself in the story without trying to figure out what happens at the end, because now that I know what happens, we're good, we're happy, I can take my time with it now. And it's such a like comfort read, and just Archer is just such a sweet, sweet soul. Question 9, are there lingering questions from the book you're still thinking about? Yes. The second epilogue. I am very confused if I just didn't catch it, but their daughter's name. I don't know what Ava's name is significant. They mention, oh, we've never considered having a girl because there's only ever been boys that have been born through the Hale family for however many centuries, so they just never considered a girl. And then they have a girl and all of a sudden they name her Ava. Why? Why did you name her Ava? I would like to know these things. And yeah, if anybody knows, let me know. Did I just miss something? Did I read it so fast that I missed whose name it was? I thought it was gonna be like one of their mom's names. 10. Did the book strike you as original? Yes, it definitely had the same stereotypical elements of all the romances, grumpy sunshine, blah, blah, blah. But it was so unique with the communication barrier and the mystery elements and thrillery aspect elements. It definitely made it unique to this relationship and to the story. And it's not very often that you see an author able to take the typical tropes and then craft them in such a unique way. Question 11, did you like the heat level of this book? I love the spice. The spice is everything. There was so much spice in this. As soon as the spice happened, spice, spice, spice. We love a spice. Question 12, was the couple's connection believable? If so, at what point did they click for you? When they first met, I was like, oh, yeah, okay. I absolutely love this and you guys are gonna be together forever. But mainly when he paid for her stuff at the grocery store, I was like, oh, he's into her. She's into him. Let's make it happen. I did. I mean, it is suspicious, if you will, that they fall in love when they're the only two that can like adequately communicate with one another. Does that play a role? Yes, but I do think it is believable because Archer offered Bree the safety that she needed to feel supported, and Bree offered Archer to push his boundaries and get out of his comfort zone. Question 13, what did you think of the romance's pacing? It was very slow burn and then all at once. So I loved that element. They had a lot of interactions, more of platonic friend interactions, but it was just burning and slow burning. And yeah, thankfully I loved how it built on that, because then you were so invested in them to get together, and then once they were together they just couldn't keep their hands off each other, and I loved it. I loved it. And would you fall for either of the leads? Archer, 100% yes. What kind of question is this? I want him to be my real boyfriend. He's another book boyfriend on my shelf, and he's just, wow. Just a sweet, kind human soul that hasn't been bogged down by the stereotypical fuckboy bullshit. He's a rare specimen. He's unique, he's lovely, and just, wow. Yay, Archer. Question 15, did this book melt your heart and make you believe in love again, or just continue to believe in love? And I absolutely loved it. And while it's mainly a romance, I definitely enjoyed all the subplots, like the mystery behind what the secret Archer was having, how he ended up going to live with his uncle, like how his dad, his other uncle, and his mom all died, and how he lost his voice. Also, Bree's trauma as well, like what happened there, and with her father's murder, and it's just, it was crazy stuff. Just the whole mystery, the whole romance, the sprinkle of elements of like first love for Archer and his first times and first everything. It was so cute, so sweet. All right, let's get to some quotes and passages that were memorable or my favorite. So on page 82 of mine, when Archer and Bree are communicating via sign language for the first time, and he says, "You can speak the old-fashioned way, I can hear you, remember?" And she replies after a few seconds, "If it's okay with you, I'd like to speak your language." Oh, if somebody said that to me, I'd be like, I love you, please marry me immediately. On page 306, Archer is talking about how he used to believe that he was cursed and that he deserved to be punished and all that, and Bree reflects on her experience with feeling that way for a time, and she replies to him, "Bad things don't happen to people because they deserve for them to happen. It just doesn't work that way. It's just life. And no matter who we are, we have to take the hand we're dealt, crappy though it may be, and try our very best to move forward anyway, to love anyway, to have hope anyway, to have faith that there's a purpose to the journey we're on, and try to believe that maybe more light shines out of those who have the most cracks." I love that. Especially that last line. Oh, and then going right to the next page, she's discussing about the bird's nest and like all the yarns and the tangles and everything. Replies, sometimes I like to think of those little pieces of fabric when life feels really messy and difficult to understand. I try to close my eyes and believe that even though I can't see the other side right then, and the side I'm looking at is ugly and muddled, there's a masterpiece that's being woven out of all of the knots and loose strings. I try to believe that something beautiful can result from something ugly. And there will come a time when I'll get to see what that is. You helped me see my own picture, Archer. Let me help you see yours. Sorry, not the bird's nest, but like her mom was needle pointing a bird's nest on something. I love that metaphor for life. It's kind of like a duck on water, that metaphor from, I heard that on The Replacements, where the duck is all calm on the surface, but underneath the water, the little feet are just going a mile a minute. And a lot of the times that's life.
A metaphor.
And the last passage that I felt was appropriate to end on is on page 350. I had learned recently that often love was all about learning to speak a person's language. And that just is so fitting. I just love this book so much. What were your thoughts on the book? I ultimately absolutely loved it. The whole thing, there were so many parts that I wish I like would have wrote down, but again, I was just going at it. There were so many sad parts, lots of trauma, and it is kind of like a trauma bonding type of romance, but not really. They both, I mean, everybody has their own trauma and everything, but Archer and Bree definitely had a very extensive one, and there was a lot of self-blame on both of them, and just seeing how they work out and communicate and grow in their love and their effective communication. It was just lovely. And I am so excited to eventually reread this. What did you guys think? Answer any of the questions, answer all of the questions. Doesn't matter. I would love to hear you. Also, feel free to DM me on Instagram. I check it way more often than I probably should in life because I love Instagram. So head on over there if you'd like, and feel free to like this video if you like our little book clubs. I know they're not super extensive, but that's okay. We're just discussing, we're talking, and it's great. And subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any other book clubs or any book related content, as well as respect others, respect yourself, and have a great day and do something amazing with your day. I gotta grab the doggo from outside because she wants to play. Okay, bye guys.